youngsters preferring IT because there is big money in it and very soon, too soon?
Well, earlier days, means till last decade, I will say, IT was considered as a really a high paying job, but it's no longer so. In fact, now the earning in IT is becoming comparable or maybe even marginally less than conventional engineering career. So it's no longer a big earning proposition that it used to be earlier. But then many things were different earlier in the sense that earlier they used to take only the topper kind of students. And nowadays they have started taking en masse. So there are en masse recruitment at entry level. So the earning has got watered down. And earlier, actually, what used to happen is that their entire marketing, most of their marketing was to overseas, particularly to US. And the main selling point was that whatever a US person, a US youngster would charge for doing a given job, these people will charge much lesser than that. Okay. And so they straight away used to have some amount in dollars which they used to convert in rupees. So it used to look very attractive in India, in Indian soil. But then Americans are smart, they have realized and they have now got a feel. And because of competition within IT companies, they have been watering down their offers because of price pressure, because prices was the mostly the USP. So as a result, now the pricing has come more or less commensurate with the Indian salary level elsewhere. So it's no longer a high earning proposition. It's okay. Means it's not low also, but it is okay. It I would say it's just average. And there also, if one goes to bigger name of companies, means famous brands, the salaries are not great. Salaries are little better in smaller organizations which are not so well known. So again, the salary comes at certain risk of having a lesser known brand. So that high point of getting a high salary, being the attractive point of attraction, being the magnetic pull which used to pull youngster to IT career is no longer true. But now the drivers have changed. Now people are going to IT because everybody is going to IT. So there is a kind of a law of mass action. Hmm? On an average, when youngsters see that all their contemporaries and classmates are going to IT, so that is what motivates them, because there is a tendency to stand in a herd, in a safe herd, and IT does look like a safe herd to stand. So they quit engineering and they migrate to IT. So that is one big pulling factor which pulls them to IT today.
Does it give too many career options?
In a sense, yes, because there is a standardization in the job. So whatever nature of job is given to entry level person in IT is more or less comparable in any IT company. Okay. And there are so many IT companies. Okay. So it is very easy to switch from one company to another company to another company. The job is more or less modular. It's a standard job, standardized job, where job hopping becomes easier. And therefore, yes, it gives them a wide range of options. They can keep on switching jobs, they can get the job in whichever city they want to work. And now there is added option of working from home. So it has opened up more possibilities and more, there is more freedom to choose. Okay, one is not tied down to a particular factory or a particular office or a particular location. So it gives flexibility, all right. It gives lot of options, all right. And thanks to standardization. And there was a notion that, okay, if one switches job, one can get a little better emoluments. Okay, some advantage with every switchover. Though it may or may not be exactly true today, but then that is also some consideration which youngsters feel that, yes, it is a plus point, definitely. So, yes, standardization and number of IT companies and their omnipresence Yes, it does give them many options. Plus, of course, there are options of working overseas also with similar kind of working. Okay. So, yes, it's a factor.
Is IT preferred because of overseas postings and overseas opportunities? Are there any negatives with these postings?
Certainly, IT, see, many people nowadays, many youngsters want to go abroad at any cost because they feel that the lifestyle there is much better, those countries are much better equipped to give them a better life in general. So, yes, IT is one option where one can migrate abroad without having to organize the money for higher studies, and one gets to go abroad with the salary. So, it's kind of security. So, you migrate abroad without any insecurity of earning. Okay. So, yes, IT, since it started with the kind of body shopping where people were recruited and sent abroad en masse. Okay. So, it has earned itself that reputation that when somebody goes to IT, it is very easy for him or her to migrate abroad with salary to a decent place and have a decent life. So, yes, that is one factor which has been attracting people. And the driving factors vary from case to case. Like some people just want to go abroad just because they want to do tourism, they want to see places. But there are others who want to earn in Forex for a long period, who want to save a lot of money. They want to earn in Forex and save a lot in terms of Indian rupees. Yes. Then those who want to finally migrate and take their citizenship. So all kind of these cravings get satisfied with IT easily because one gets overseas assignments and frequent. And you can go to variety of countries, of course, right from Middle East to UK to Germany to US, Australia, anywhere. So IT does give a lot of options to work abroad. Earlier, working abroad was much more prevalent. Now, the real brain drain has got converted into virtual brain drain. So, all the companies have back-end office in India. They work for abroad necessarily, but the person need not migrate. So, while somebody is working for US, he can still be a citizen of India, staying in India, and working in an Indian office. Initially, of course, IT companies tried to create an ambience within that Indian office as if it is outside India. Means the kind of canteen facilities, the kind of ambience which is there in the building and infrastructure. So that was something which could make people proud that they are working in a decent place. With swanky looking glass offices and all that. Glass towers started coming since then. But now, of course, in India also you see a lot of them. So it has lost charm, so to say. There are so many Indian companies also which have very decent offices. So, but yes, the flip side is that those, I mean, my observation is that those people who have been moving abroad a lot in IT industry particularly, as compared to their Indian counterparts, they tend to suffer in career rise. Because when you work for overseas client, they have lot of work for entry level people up to middle level people, but then they will not make you general manager, they will not make you senior manager because those people would not like to report to somebody from India. So essentially, the people who migrate, they remain expert. They do not become managers. Okay, so they work individually. They remain responsible for their own personal performance or a team performance, but the team is sitting in India mostly. Okay, and as compared to their Indian counterparts, who maybe by the time they touch 40, they become general manager or a project leader, they become very senior in hierarchy wise. Those who work abroad, they tend to stagnate at lower levels. So the vertical rise is something that gets compromised with the overseas assignment. The more overseas assignments are done, the more the person gets relegated to being an expert, being an individual, and does not become really a leader or a team player.
Still, why is IT seen as a cozy job?
IT is seen as a cozy job as compared to conventional jobs in industry, where one has to slog. It's though it is called a white collar job, but it is actually a blue collar job many times in factories. So one has to come in shifts, one has to soil hands. It's a dirty job. Many times in government service also, one has to deal with the politicians and goons and dadas and touts. So, which is quite taxing. I mean, middle class youth would rather not like to do these kind of jobs where, I mean, either you have to struggle to avoid doing something unethical, like, okay, so that may be a driver also for some doing something unethical. But then most of the Indian middle class youth, I believe, are trying to avoid doing unethical things in job. They are straight people. They want regular salary, regular increments, regular rewards as per their actual performance. Now in IT, actually it is very difficult for anybody to snatch credit from anybody, because the big brother computer knows it all, who has put how many hours and who has done what. So assessment system and rewards and promotions are fairly standard, and they are fairly objective, and there is no hanky panky in that. Okay. Whereas in conventional jobs, all that passing the buck, credit snatching, all those malpractices, nepotism, all those things go. Hmm. So when somebody goes in IT, it is a decent job with decent co-workers, okay, who are supposed to be cultured and well behaved. Working atmosphere is good. There are many females, so girls find themselves very comfortable. Okay, they have many co-workers who can be their friends. Okay, which is difficult elsewhere. In IT, I mean, it becomes like an extension of classroom days. You can say that there is a big hall with many people with similar salary level and similar family background. They are sitting. Okay, so they automatically feel a degree of comfort being in that kind of environment. Okay, they don't have to do any dirty work, they don't have to do any unethical work, no hanky panky, no dealing with the difficult characters. Okay, so to that extent, yes, it is a cozy job. People are attracted. Plus, there are sometimes good canteens, good ambience, AC office. Okay, and nice opportunities to sometimes travel also uh, on the house. Hmm. And of course, overseas assignments and all associated benefits. All that put together makes it a cozy job.
Okay. What are some high esteem or premium quality jobs within IT?
Well, in IT, most of the jobs, I mean, again, that thing is changing, but it was a perception that most of the IT jobs involve coding. But it's not so. Somebody who makes the specification of a software, somebody who designs a solution, somebody who customizes a solution, somebody who tests the solution, all those are the various shades of jobs which are there. Plus, of course, there is hierarchy, like you have an entry level, then you have a team lead, then you have a project manager, and so on, right? So there are different jobs. There is a hierarchy within IT companies, certainly, but most of those jobs are, I would say, being so standard that they are run of the mill. So anybody and everybody is doing it, and anybody and everybody could do it. So the threat is that earlier, as I said, that only toppers used to be selected for IT kind of jobs. Now one finds that okay, whatever job he or she is doing, somebody next to him or her is doing similar job, and that fellow may be just 10th pass. But so it is a threat, because anybody and everybody is doing the similar job. So then the esteem value comes crashing down suddenly, When you encounter such situations, esteem value comes crashing down because you find that there is a lot of competition, and whatever I am doing that anybody and everybody can do, right? So that factor that I am an expert and only I can do, that's not quite so. Yet in the premium jobs that you are asking, premium jobs are those where that X factor is there, where a person can become an expert. Okay. So most of the people are using some languages and doing programming, doing coding, etc. But somebody who is developing those languages becomes a premium job. Somebody who is writing operating system, for example, somebody who is making intelligent algorithms based on AI ML is probably the hottest job, right? So, but those jobs are niche jobs. Those jobs, the availability is lesser, and whether they would prefer Indians to do it is a question mark. And but yes, those are the coveted jobs if somebody gets those jobs. And there is a sister branch of IT, that is engineering, kind of a CAD CAM kind of a software, engineering software, those simulation and those kind of software. Now those are, yes, those are somewhat premium because not anybody and everybody can do it, and one requires knowledge of engineering apart from programming. So those become a little elitist as compared to regular run of the mill IT jobs. But yes, developing AI ML based applications, solution designing, customization, making turnkey solutions, and of course, writing those algorithms and languages. Yes, these are, I would say, some of the premium jobs. Okay.
Is IT industry thriving on body shopping and exploitation?
In fact, the major IT companies in India started by body shopping. That is, they used to take projects from overseas, and they did very few things in India, but mostly they used to recruit people and send them abroad. Okay. So that was termed as body shopping in those days. So they just used to recruit and send abroad. That was their formula. And en masse, like hundreds of people were recruited and sent abroad, just like that. And that was a big attraction for people to come for the interview and join those companies to be sent abroad. Okay. With some degree of comfort level and security and all. Yeah. So that is how they started. But the business model was based on being economical as compared to their uh, counterparts in those countries. Okay. So there was undercutting. There was, they were working much lesser. They were working for much longer hours. So they were slogging much more. And that was how they were getting preferred. But working for longer hours is a kind of exploitation, according to me. Okay. So if you are overworking, if you are compromising your work life balance, it's a kind of exploitation. Plus, one more thing started happening, that entry level they required many people. So, entry level they took people en masse to attract them. They give good packages also and then send them abroad. But after a while, when they become senior, the positions are not so many. So then people used to be dumped, or people used to themselves quit and look for some other job there in some local company there. So all kind of dynamics was happening, but it was exploitation in the sense that as compared to conventional engineering career where bigger companies have, let us say, a provident fund, a gratuity, and a kind of scheme that guarantees your lifetime of career and earning prospects. In IT, it was like, okay, whatever good work you have done, take the money today, but tomorrow nobody knows what will happen. Okay. So all kind of things happened. Like one fine day, somebody gets a reward, accolades. After 6 months, the job is taken away. So all kind of crazy things used to happen. So that is the kind of exploitation. Okay. So you take people at entry level at lower salary to motivate them. You give them rewards. When their salary goes up, you suddenly realize that you can't afford that luxury, and somebody would do the same job for half of that salary. So you dump the fellow. So there is a no long-term commitment. There is no long-term liability. There is no long-term thought process. There is no long-term planning, career planning also. So they work by the day. So today you are a favorite. So today you get money. Tomorrow, God knows what happens. And that is what used to happen. Another factor happens that if you see any IT industry, okay, you will not find almost anybody who's 40 plus. The question is, where do those people go who cross 40? The thing is, there is a flux, there is a dynamics in the organization. They have to motivate people, so they have to give them salary, they have to give them promotions, etc. As a result, people grow fast and they hit the glass ceiling by the time they are 40. After that, the company realized that we don't need so many general managers. What will we do? So they dump them through the glass roof and they land nowhere. Okay. Because even if you are ready to continue working as a senior manager when your contemporaries have become general manager, you don't fit in the flow of the organization. The whole crowd is moving like that, and the next man also has to become general manager before he becomes 40. Right? So the dynamics throws you out. So that's the kind of dynamics which has set in those organizations, that anybody who enters, as long as you're in the mainstream IT, you flow in that channel. By the time you are 40, you're out of mainstream. So either you find some other assignments, maybe you become HR manager or somebody, but not in the mainstream IT. You can find some other roles if the company allows you to do that. Otherwise, majority of them are out. So that is the tricky part, that when you start earning a lot and your salary is going leap and bounds, you start assuming that you will keep earning and your salary will keep growing at the same rate. So the people used to book swanky flats and big bungalows and all. And by the time they become 40, their EMIs would still be ticking. Their children would still be school going. Their liability is not over by any stretch. And they have been spending a lot, assuming that they will keep earning at that same rate. And one fine day, they get a pink slip and they're out and they don't know what to do next. Because another company at that point, to somebody who's 40 plus, will not take them even at that same salary level, even if he wants. Even if you are ready to compromise the salary, even then they will not take, because their dynamics gets affected. There are other people who are coming behind, they get demotivated if you bring some outsider. So those considerations are there. It's a dynamics. And in conventional industries, what happens that there used to be a trade unionism, there used to be a hierarchy which had streamlined some kind of a career profiles. In IT, that has not happened because unionism was never allowed to come there, anywhere near that. So it is freestyle market growth. The way it has evolved, it has evolved. And the way it has evolved is not something to be proud of. Yeah. It is not giving any assurance for the livelihood beyond 40. That is the point. So it is exploitation. Making people work long hours is an exploitation. Haggling too much on what should be your hourly rate, etc., is a kind of exploitation. Threatening people that, okay, if you don't do, I will get somebody else for half of your salary who would do it, again is an exploitation. So all kind of pressures are put, and that's what is making people restless after a while.
Are there any other things that professionals should know about before they enter the IT field?
See, in IT field, most of the business is coming from US, and of course, there are going to be calls which will be at odd hours, late night calls. So the family life gets thoroughly disturbed. I have known people, husband, wife, both working in IT, both working in different shifts. As a result, husband and wife don't see each other's face. Only excepting at weekend, they are able to see each other. Okay. And I happen to know one such couple who had a young child. So I asked my friend, how big is your child? So he showed me like this. So I said, why are you showing like this? Why can't you show like this? He said, Khare Sahab, I always see him like this only. By the time I come home, he is asleep. I never see him while he is awake and walking. So that is the kind of flip side which is there to IT companies. I have known people who have been married, and even after 6 months of their marriage, the couple could not go together for shopping any single day because weekend they are too tired, so they keep sleeping, and working days their times are scattered, they are distributed, shifts are different, so they could never go shopping together, they could never enjoy the life. So they have a lot of money but they have no time to enjoy. So that's the problem. Plus the job which is there, it gives them a feeling that they are racing against time, they are overworked, and most of the work is not enviable. It is like software coolie. So they are doing hammali in software. It's a donkey work. It is a dirty work which nobody else would do. Therefore, they have been given it to do. The premium work is difficult to come by. Generally, the premium work is not so easily available. Another thing which is threatening people is okay, while you are young, you can be trained in latest software. Okay, so you can develop some degree of expertise and you can get gainfully employed based on that expertise. Now, as you grow older, the software keeps evolving much faster actually. Okay, so every day there are new versions, there are new things. And to one would say that okay, you keep track of the software, you keep track of knowledge, learn new things, etc. But to learn new things, you have to be at the right place at the right time. You can't learn new thing from anywhere, anytime. Okay, and you can't be at the right place at right time every time. So there comes a time when you have your family liabilities, you have children, you are not able to put in as many working hours as the organization would wish that you did. Okay, so there will be some compromises, there will be some slowing down on your part, which organization would not like. And as a result, you will start lagging slowly. So in IT, they say that any experience which is older than 5 years, it's not an asset, it becomes a liability. In conventional engineering, they say that if you have 20 years of experience, 30 years of experience, you have a lot of wealth. I mean, knowledge wealth and expertise wealth. But in IT, it is the other way. Anything older than 5 years becomes a liability. And to keep abreast, you have to be at right place at right time, which you can't be all the time. So after a while, one starts lagging. And by the time you are 40, you would be lagging so thoroughly that the organization will realize that no, whatever this fellow is doing, probably somebody younger would do a better job for much lesser salary. So that would be a business decision on their part, and they will mercilessly throw you out and replace you with somebody. So that's a threat which looms large, and that's the dynamics which happens. And after that, after being a general manager somewhere, it's difficult to work elsewhere at a junior level. Even if one is prepared, they will not take you. So, what one can do is maybe start your own software company or consultancy or start training institute or something. So those are the by far the only options which are left. And if one has not saved all these years, assuming that you keep getting the same money, same increment, then suddenly a rude shock comes and find that you hardly have any options left.
Who should enter this field, like knowing all these threats that loom large?
Somebody who decides to enter in IT, if he or she knows all these things upfront, then one can plan for these eventualities. In a sense that, okay, if you are getting more money today, don't assume that you keep getting the same. Don't try to lock your money in things which you don't require badly. For example, booking a swanky bungalow, etc., or buying a car that you can do without actually, okay? But buying a super luxury car just for the heck of it, just because you think you have a lot of money. So try to save money judiciously, try to invest money judiciously, try to plan for a career after IT, in the sense that assume that after 40 there is not going to be, the party is going to be over. So what will you do then? Now, if you have planned like that, if you have managed your money to meet the rainy day, yes, then it will not be a crisis. Probably, yes, you make best while the sun shines, accumulate money, make contacts, and then start on your own. Ultimately, there is nothing like starting your own company. Okay, start your own small company, which can make you to earn enough for your own survival and survival of few with you. Okay, make a company which is innovative, which does a niche job. The chances of survivability go up that much. Nowadays, of course, IT people can go in a lot of attractive things, like, of course, application of AI ML, industry solutions for Industry 4, Industry 5, etc. Okay, automation. Yes, one can really get niche jobs in these segments, and those will be niche jobs. Of course, volumes will not be there, scalability may not be there, but then why do you require so much of it anyway? Now, after one is 40, one can do a modest setup which will earn enough for your remaining life, and can live peacefully, happily, and do what you like to do the best. So, what I would advise them is to develop your own core competence, follow your passion, don't compromise too much on your passion, on your dream, don't lose sight of your dream, be very clear. Let IT be a learning phase and earning phase until the time it does that. After that, you pursue your passion, follow your plans, and start on your own. And that's the best thing, I think. And as it is in even in other sectors, the number of jobs are dwindling. So gone are the days when you join a company and you hope to retire from there. It's not happening. It's not going to happen that way. So there is going to be flux. There is going to be change. There is going to be scenario change totally every 5 years. So focus more on creativity, focus more on innovation, focus more on having premium expertise with you. Try to become expert in something rather than doing run of the mill things. Okay. If that clarity is there, yes, one can join IT, take overseas assignment once you are abroad, make a switch, go to some company where you get expertise, where you get premium job, or you do MS there and acquire some expertise. Try to become an expert from a generalist professional. Okay. Most of the IT jobs involve long hours of working on a monitor, on a cell phone, and most of them are table jobs. Ever since they have become work from home, many youngsters I have seen working from bed also, whole day. Now that tells on the health. The spine gets affected, the vision gets affected, the neck gets affected. And so there is a need to do some kind of exercises, some kind of physical activity to supplement all this abuse of the body, I would say. So one has to plan the day and the activities so that the physical exercise happens. The same posture is not continued for too long. One is not staring at electronic display most of the time. And that has to be consciously done along with exercise and regimen in order to keep fit. Because once you are 40 plus, you have to have sufficient physical energy and good health to be able to take life forward from there on once you are on your own. Okay. So that would be my advice.